10-year-old Diuto found she was treated differently from the other child in the same family. She didn't know that the woman she called mommy was her stepmom, her stepmother. Diuto thought they were all family and had equal rights to daddy's and mommy's love and affection. But no, the mommy wouldn't let that be, and daddy had to explain it all to Diuto. You have the same father with Ozim, but not the same mother. So where's my own mother, daddy? Diuto asked, crying. Where's my own mother? This is how it all started. Many years ago, Ekoma, who was Muna's wife, died while giving birth. The first and only baby was Diuto, the girl with a beautiful heart. But who would take care of Diuto? Her grandma stepped in to take on the task. She spoke a lot to and into Diuto. Grandma would say, Diuto, you are a blessing. Be a blessing wherever you appear. Be the best you could ever be in whatever you do. Diuto, be bold to stand out and never be ashamed to be different. Stand for the truth, no matter the pressure. Never join the mob to do evil. Be the first, be the most, be the only and the best. It doesn't matter the responsibility or task you are given. Deliver the best value. Diuto, be kind and love others. Diuto was but a baby, but she would be still listening to Grandma. Grandma kept drumming these words into Diuto at different times and in different ways. One day, Grandma fell down, and a neighbor rushed her to the nearest hospital, but Grandma never came back. She passed on. Muna, Grandma's son, was devastated. Diuto didn't know much, but she recollects she stopped seeing Grandma and stopped receiving all the love and affection she gave. Muna carried Diuto to his house in the city. He didn't want to remarry in a hurry, but with Diuto now, remarriage seemed an urgent matter. He first employed a nanny who was also kind to baby Diuto. Soon, Muna found a woman to marry on recommendation by an old family friend. Muna calls her Kaka. Mommy Kaka saw Diuto and displayed kindness and love to her, and that pleased Muna a great deal and made him relax and say, Sweetheart, thank you for loving Diuto. Life soon slipped into normalcy as Kaka took charge of the home and Diuto, while Muna faced work. Diuto was 7 years old when Kaka gave birth to a beautiful baby girl, Ozim. Soon Diuto was carrying Ozim and changing her diapers. Kaka found that she could send Diuto around to do chores instead of paying a nanny. Diuto was ever so cheerful and did all she was told, and excellently. Diuto would play with Ozim, but soon Kaka began to pull Ozim away from Diuto. When Muna goes to work, Kaka would often shout at Diuto, saying, You are the girl with a closed destiny. You killed your mother and killed your grandmother. Diuto became sad that she couldn't play freely with her own younger sister. Kaka began to overload Diuto with work and extra work. She would cook, she would clean the house, she would wash Ozim's clothes and Kaka's clothes, then Time to relax a bit. Kaka would pour a packet of pins on the floor and tell Diuto to pick the pins one by one back into the empty packet. What is the spelling of wickedness, if I may ask? Life was becoming unbearable for Diuto. Initially, Kaka was pushing her stepmom wickedness on Diuto secretly. If Muna was around, she would be nice to Diuto. Soon she became brazen and started doing it openly. Muna tried to remind Kaka and would often tell her, "Kaka, Diuto and Ozim are both our daughters." But Kaka would flare up and shout, "Please hold it there. Diuto can never be my daughter." Ozim would talk to Diuto with incredible rudeness and even occasionally give Diuto knocks on her head from the back if she was seated washing clothes. Her cruelty grew as she followed her mother's footsteps and believed all the lies her mother told her about Diuto. Diuto was like a lamb led to the slaughter that openeth not her mouth. But she kept remembering Grandma's words. Do your best in everything you do. Give the best value no matter what and no matter where. Be a blessing. Sometimes she gets overwhelmed by the onslaught of wickedness from her stepmom and tears will start gushing down her cheeks uncontrollably. Mommy Kaka would give her soup without meat and would even add extra water to Diuto's soup. One day, while she was washing clothes, two men came visiting. They were looking for one Diuto, and Madam Kaka was first taken aback. Then she was angry that some men would be looking for Diuto. For what? Since when? In aid of what? She shouted. The man replied, "We have a message for her. The person that sent us said it must be delivered straight to her. So we are waiting for her, madam." She stomped into the backyard to fetch Diuto. They spoke to Diuto saying, "Sorry, Diuto, your dad was driving and the car somersaulted and hit a large tree. He died after a few hours in the hospital. He said to tell his daughter, Diuto, to never ever give up. She should always be herself and not someone else. Always be a blessing." Kaka asked, "Is that all he said?" Impatient. They said, "That's all, madam," and they left. Diuto collapsed and was crying and crying. Diuto is now an orphan, even though technically she has a stepmom. Technically. A brief ceremony was done to bury Muna in their village, and there was a great mourning by relations and the rest of the villagers. He was their hope for progress. He was the one that gave them enlightened advice. Within a few days, Kaka came back home to their house and Diuto was distraught. She was filled with fear. She kept asking herself, what would life be like without Daddy? I suffered each time he traveled or went to work, and even sometimes when he was around. I suffered, yes, but he would give me a word or two. He would encourage me. He would speak kind words to me. He would give me a hug. But now, he is no more. Would these tears ever dry up? Would they ever dry up? Diuto contemplated running away. But to where? She had no place and nobody to go to. Going to live on the streets would expose her and make her vulnerable. She could easily be raped. She stayed put under Kaka's mercilessness. Her life of untold misery worsened. One day the king of Ibuku Kingdom, their town, wanted to get a wife for his prince who would succeed him when he passes on. And the wife must be carefully chosen, because she would either make or mar the kingdom. she would either be an instrument for further development and civilization of Ubuku kingdom, or the one person through which the kingdom would crumble. And the search began. The king sent out men to scout for virgins of marriageable age in the land, and both Diuto and Ozim were qualified. Of course, Kaka didn't want to send Diuto, whom she considered dirty and ugly and a nobody, a girl without destiny, who should rather die like her parents. How would her housemaid go to the palace to do what? To compete with her daughter and other beauties in the land? Madam Kaka called Diuto and said, "It's so good I burnt all those clothes your father bought for you. If I didn't, by now, you would be stretching neck to go and present your dirty and ugly witchcraft self to the king and the prince." So soon, they came to Madam Kaka's house and she said, "Yes, I have a daughter that qualifies very well." And she presented Ozim. She never mentioned that Diuto was available and suitable too. So they gave her 3 days to prepare to go to the palace. Kaka bought 3 beautiful dresses for Ozim for this. She dressed up in one of them and carried a small bag of clothes in case she needed to stay back for some days, as the men had advised. As she was leaving, Kaka said, "Oh, my queen, wait. You need a maid that would attend to you in the palace before they assign palace mates to you as the queen." Then she said, "Diuto, escort her to the palace. Make sure she lacks nothing there. Carry her bags for her and clean her shoes for her whenever they need cleaning. Perhaps if you behave well and attend to her well, she could employ you as one of her maids, and you would live in that huge palace attending to our beautiful Queen Ozim." Diuto said, "But mommy, I have not bathed." Kaka said, "Who cares about your bathing or not? Be grateful. I allowed you to escort the queen to her palace. That becomes part of your achievements in life." That's how Diuto followed Ozim in dirty old clothes to the palace. They were told to wait at the palace entrance. While the beauties in the land were waiting, some other ladies who are palace maids were sweeping the compound. Diuto approached one of them and said that she wanted to just help instead of standing idle and chattering. The lady said, "No, you cannot be sweeping. It's my work, my duty." Diuto said, "Yes, I know. I want to be of help to you today. While I am sweeping, you could be resting." She gave Diuto the broom and said, "Nne, do you know I was up all night last night because my baby had a fever? But by morning, after giving him small bitter leaf juice, he got well and started eating." Diuto empathized with her and said, "I am happy he is well now, so please sit down and rest. I'll sweep the entire space for you." So while Diuto was sweeping for her, she had time to take a short nap. Diuto did the sweeping exceptionally well. And the lady, Madam Egodi, led her to a bathroom to bathe and clean up. Diuto took a quick bath and cleaned the bathroom fast. They had started the interviews one by one. A panel questioned them individually. Eventually, 7 ladies were selected for further screening, and they are to spend 8 weeks in the palace, and Ozim was among the 7. The lady, Madam Egodi, also helped a bit in the kitchen, so Diuto followed her there. She was expert at cooking meals too. The kitchen ladies were simply amazed at what Diuto could do and how respectful and kind she was. That started a great time for Diuto around the palace. One young woman there gave her clothes to change into. Simple clothes, but she appeared more than ordinary. One day, a palace staff member, Ndubisi, who doubles as a driver and some days as one of the gatekeepers, saw her and said, So why are you not among the girls going through the interview processes for the king and his prince? Diuto answered, No, sir. I came to take care of my stepsister in case she needs anything. I am here to run errands for her. The man, Ndubisi, asked, Your stepsister? He kind of read the situation and shook his head and left. The ladies had a lot of free time in the palace, and some of them were going out of parental watch for the first time, and they displayed what they had been learning or refused to learn at home. Some would be mean and lash out at their fellow contestants. Some imagined that they were old enough to have close male friends and hooked up to palace men who were available, forgetting why they came to the palace in the first place. They saw an opportunity to go all out with men, and they did go all out. Some, like Ozim, fought with two of the contestants who seemed pushy about their desires to be the chosen queen. She fought with them, and it was Diuto that came to settle their quarrels each time. There was just no point sending any away at this time, since the day for the declaration of final results was around the corner. Ozim had grown close to the man who wore the crown all over the palace, and she fought anyone who dared to come close. Diuto kept walking around the palace, helping out the women here and there. The kitchen women were most grateful for her presence and help. They churned out the best meals this time because of her culinary expertise, and they were particularly heartwarmed because of her touching kindness. She stood out, selfless and kind, always helping, always giving one kind word after another to people. The day finally arrived. People, including the mothers of these 7 young ladies, were present at the palace to see the person who would be the prince's wife, the next queen of Ibuku kingdom. They all gathered. The ladies all dressed to the neck. Each mother waited, their hearts palpitating in anticipation that they would soon be addressed with a new title, Mama Queen. The MC welcomed everyone, then brought out 2 men who stood before the crowd. One was Ndubisi, the driver and gatekeeper. Another was the one who wore the crown. His name is Nnamdi. MC continued, My king live forever. From our observations up till last night, 5 of the girls are pregnant. 3 fought at one time or another. Some are lazy. That means the 7 we brought to the palace for this exercise didn't really make it. None qualifies. But we want to address one in particular who fought 2 times. She pestered Nnamdi, who has been wearing the crown, pestered him terribly, and was very unkind to others who tried to get close to Nnamdi. She is Ozim. Could we have you out here? Ozim stepped out. Madam Kaka had mixed feelings of fear and hope. The MC continued, Well, Nnamdi is not the prince. He is a tricycle rider in town. Keke driver. We hired him for this period. Yes, Mr. Ndubisi here acted as the palace driver and the palace gatekeeper. Yes, some of you were rude to him and treated him with disdain because you thought he was a mere driver and a gatekeeper. He is the prince. How you do one thing is eventually how you do everything. And sadly, Ozim, Nnamdi is married with children and therefore has no plans to take on a second wife. He doesn't even have enough money to feed his family at this point in time, let alone feed you and your baby. Now the prince himself chose someone who has been excellent, exceptional, kind, loving, committed, the first, the most, the only, the best, and she is Diuto. Can we have her come on stage, please? The applause, the roar, the kitchen staff broke into a dance and took her to the podium where the prince placed a crown on kneeling Diuto after hugging her. Mama Kaka fainted. She is to go home with her Ozim to go and nurse a new baby when the baby arrives without Diuto, her housemaid. Wow! What do you really think? Stepmothers who maltreat their stepdaughters and stepsons usually have it rough later. What do you think is the reason? Please share your thoughts with us in the comment section below. And please encourage us to roll out more African folk tales, more African real life stories by giving this video a thumbs up and also subscribe to our channel if you haven't already done so. Yes, please remember to click the bell icon so you would be among the first to know when we upload another very interesting story video. And please share our stories with your friends and family. Thank you for watching. Thank you for being there for us. This is African Folk Tales ChinChin. Till our next video, remain truly amazing. Goodbye.